In this particular case, the target kind of was to enable a 20% growth in the daily samples. This when we started off with the project, it was to the 30,000 sample requisitions daily mark, but as Sami said, we've already surpassed that, and I think without growing the headcount or anything like that, just so the system is ramping up pretty nicely.
Yeah, so just to clarify on the 30,000 recs, I did get an email from the US CEO of LabOS that we almost hit the 35,000 tier, so we got to pay more. But having said that, because if we hit it a certain number of days, it's a different pricing philosophy. We get half of those recs from client draws, physicians drawing in their own offices. And then the rest we get from PSCs and IOPs. So that's the breakdown of that. So not everything is drawn by us. So just want to give you that clarification. This slide I put together actually in 2020, late 2022, early 2023. So this may be pretty rudimentary to you because you may be doing all of this in a single platform. I'll tell you that mostly if you're on an Epic system, maybe you're already on it, right? But we were not there. We were not on Epic. We had LabOS and we were working through different stages. But in our PSCs, and we still have some IOPs because we haven't fully converted all our IOPs yet, this is what they deal with for every single patient. They have to go into Quantum for order entry. If for some reason we need to translate a lipid into a Cleveland Heart Clinic's panel, then they have to go look up the translation letter. To look at what patients have checked in, they got to go into appointment check-in. If we need to see a past due balance for a patient, that's a different system we have. It's called PBI, Patient Billing Inquiry. To process it, they have to go to a different window. Just put yourself in their shoes, right? And of course, if they have to do any additional lookups, change the name to LabOS, so their old system was called NetLIMS. They have to go into that. And they had to, if they had to pull up a rec, we had another system called Freedom Imaging, which was a requisition document management system, if you will. This is a nightmare. And for that Freedom Imaging, in 2022, I had 11 to 12 individuals in IT. It's usually not in IT, don't know why I inherited it, but I had 11 to 12 individuals who would just scan the paper coming in. Think of each requisition as three pieces of paper. An insurance copy, 2 recs, right? So that was the case. So we had to copy it, which means I have to leave my station, go back to the copier, take a copy. And I also have to make a copy of that electronic rec, which the patient may have brought in because there may be chicken scratch on it. For some reason, even though the order was entered in Quantum prints its own rec. So I have to make a copy of that. So that's 3, right? And then if there's an AWN form or ABN or AWN, you got to print those out too to get the patient signature on those. All of this would be picked up by a courier. No specimen tracking because I told you that the minute the label's print, I'm done. It thinks that's in the lab. Right, when the instrument receives it, that's good because it is an instrument-ready sample at that point. But it's you're done there. And then there was a whole after the fact work of taking it in, scanning all these papers, and of course, God forbid, if 2 of those scanners don't show up, billing will freak out because their prepositions are not there. It was just a very manual, bad flow. And then what we moved towards. And not everything again is in, this is again the organized chaos. You can hit it. This is how many times a patient has to walk up. So if you hit the clickers there, right? So sorry, if you go back 1 slide. So the patient has to first go check in, go back and sit down. Then they will be called to give their insurance card, go back and sit down. Then they will be called if they have issues with their card, go back and sit down. And then finally, maybe I'll call you for collecting your specimen, right? So this was, again, a very organized chaos. I say it organized because we were still growing as a business, right? And we had 3 different positions at every PSC. One in the front, all my phlebotomists, SQL phlebotomists, and a patient financial advocate because phlebotomists didn't want to have the conversation about money with the patient. 3 roles, right? And just imagine if one of those people calls up. So with LabOS, what we did is we put scanners in every room and we completely eliminated the front desk in our PSCs. So there's no more front desk. We come in, check in, sit down, have a good time. free Wi-Fi, no coffee because you may be fasting, but free Wi-Fi, right? And once they check in, we know who to call. You go to the room, we put scanners in every room. We made electronic signature pads, so you don't have to print out the ABN if they don't want it. They can sign it right there. And everything was scanned and shredded right there. We would get literally tens of millions of paper a year. Think about 32,000 to 34,000 patients a day times three pieces of paper every single day, right? So it just adds up really quickly. And so this is the workflow we have in our patient service centers today, where you don't have a front desk. And with LabOS, we got specimen tracking finally. You know, these are things you just assume. When I worked in Sunquest, Beaker, there was always specimen tracking. Sunquest in 2004 or 5, when I was working on Sunquest, they called it smart, right? So it's just things like those. You assume it foundational, but with the quantum system, we just didn't have it. So what did we do? How did the project become a success? The order processing time came down from around 9 minutes, and we reduced it further to 7.5. Now it's approximately 5.5 to 6 minutes per transaction. We still haven't eliminated all of those boxes yet. We only eliminated 3 of those 9 boxes you saw. We're working towards bringing in revenue cycle management right in there, or billing, if you will. We're working towards bringing in certain other features in terms of payment processing. But it's a journey, and we will get there. We'll get there soon. So auto costing is now only 5.5 to 6 minutes. We eliminated 95% of the problem bags. What do I mean by a problem bag? You all heard of, I'm sure it happens in every lab. You come in, you have your doctor's order, you give the urine cup or the stool cup, they say they'll come back tomorrow. They never come back. The order just sits. We did not have a way to cancel that urine. So it would go back to the lab in a problem bag. Lab had to go through the steps to cancel it because the order is already crossed, and I've already printed the labels at the front end because they couldn't do it right at the front end. So that was approximately, we had 300 or so problem bags a day. That's almost 2 FTEs. You got to go pull up the order, do the whole thing, cancel it, accession it. It's just pain. We're now down from 11 to 5 because we had to stop our rollout on some of the IOPs due to a couple of fixes we're waiting on from LabOS, but it has definitely cut the department in half.
They're on the way.
And, I'm sorry?
This minute. The fixes are all still on the way from the sole.
And we promised our board that we will hit productivity metrics at the PSCs by the end of 2025, and we did it. We actually showed the board how we increased productivity by at least 10 FTEs, which translates into a certain productivity number for us. And now finally, we have the ability to track specimens accurately. One of my big goals when going with this, you always want the shiny thing, was just like FedEx. When you come in, I should be able to tell you on my website, on our patient portal, where is your specimen? Because 70% of the calls we get from our patients, and also 70% from our physicians, are where's my result? We don't hold any results. The minute it's done, it's to you. It's like a hospital, when you get a call from the floor, where's my result? Usually hospital, the person first out. Don't call me. I'm not going to sit on your result. It should be there. So it's about expectation setting, and this is something we're working towards. We have the data. It's just not a priority project. We have other projects going on, but we can easily publish the ability to track specimens. It's more for internal, but we can also put it up external. This is my point there.
Thank you, Sami, for that. But just before the next slide, I kind of want to emphasize again, we understand, again, upscaling 20% is a major win for the organization, but those 2 minutes or 4 minutes, depending on counting all that whole processing time, when you multiply it and scale it, and each 1,000, 2,000, every time we hit a new level of these daily requisitions, we understand how much time is actually just saved by that for the staff, the personnel, the FTEs, just to focus on analyzing and providing good patient care and not running around with the investigation. Hey, where did this sample go? What's this urine cup sitting here for 2 days, etc., and so on.